Okay, so as you can see, Robert's hat is now gradually appearing from the stone, his Homburg, and I've done roughed out the crown. Now we're smoothing it off a little bit, getting a shape to it now. It will have a final rub down in the final stages of the carving to make it nice and smooth, and detail will be put on a little bit later. But as you can see, what I'm doing now is I'm working the brim, the top surface of the brim of the hat, bearing in mind that of course that will be quite thin, and the way we do this is to work the top surface pretty much to the finished surface, and then I'll take down some stone from underneath. But first of all I have to shape the brim, shape the edge, and I'll do that by undercutting the edge all the way around whilst we've still got the stone underneath. That gives it obviously more support so we don't have any accidents. And once the whole of the top surface is carved and rubbed down, the edge and the brim is shaped, and then I should take the thickness of the brim down to an undercut, cut and undercut all the way around, and then work the stone away from underneath the brim. That way we're safe and we don't have any accidents with the hat. The stone is a very good quality carving stone, as we've said before. It's Portland, so it will take quite a lot of resistance. But once we come to the underside of the brim, I shan't be using a hammer and chisel. Most of the shaping will be done by hand with files similar to these, which are riffler files, and these are very fine stone files that I can work underneath there, which reduces any impact on the stone, so we don't again have any accidents. What I'm doing now is just taking the top surface down away. That area there, as you can see, if you can just see that top area there, that's been clawed. That was the second stage of roughing out, and now what I'm doing is taking the teeth out, so that we've got a much smoother surface, and our final surface will be a rub down with Carver stone by hand to get a very, very smooth surface. So just to take some of these stun marks out from the teeth, it makes it easier when we rub it down.
You've heard about jazzradio.com premium, but have you tried it yet? If not, now you can get 1 week free with no commercials.
The actual diameter of the brim won't be cut out until the very, very end of this preparation. As I said again, if I take the corners away, it makes it too vulnerable. So we keep everything in for as long as possible before we actually take out the corners, and then we start to cut down underneath into the thickness of the brim. The brim on this hat is quite thick actually, a Homburg. They're something like almost an inch or 3/4 of an inch. You can just see that marking I've got in there. So there's quite a lot of stone on the brim, but what we actually do is we cheated a little bit on the technique, and we keep as much stone at the thickness the base near the crown as possible, which gives the illusion of the brim being quite thin, but in actual fact it's got as much stone on it as we can keep. As you can see now, what I'm doing is just smoothing it off, just taking out any imperfections before I actually do the rubbing down. The next stage, as you will probably see, will be the brim almost complete. These little details around here, the little bow in here, which is a little tuck bow that is on the band, that'll be done later on once everything is finished off.